Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. It's in a Dadgad tuning. So you're going to take the two E strings, the low and the high E strings, and you're going to drop them a whole step, and they're both going to be Ds. Next you're going to take your B string and drop that a whole step, and that's going to be an A. So what you get is this: D, A, D, G, A, D. It's also called a D sus4 tuning if you want to think of it like that, but most people call it Dadgad. So okay, it's 4/4 time. The riff has a repetitive rhythmic pattern, 1 E and a 3 and. So it's da da da, da 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 da. But the trick with this one is, when the pattern comes around and you start moving that note chromatically up through, where the pattern starts lands in a different part of the measure each time. So if you're counting it out, it's actually more confusing than if you play it. If you just kind of play it, it kind of works out. But I'm going to count it out for you anyway, because I want you to understand where it's at. So it's 1 E and a 3 and, 4 E and a 2 and, 3 E and a 1 and, 2 E and a 4 and then it starts over. 1 E and a 3 and, 4 E and a 2 and, 3 E and a 1 and, 2 E and a 4 and. It's actually a 3-measure pattern. Most pop music, rock, whatever you want to say, has 4 measures or 2 measures or 8. But this is a 3-measure pattern. That's why it kind of sounds like it's kind of, you know, it doesn't go with the drums for a second, then it kind of comes back around. So for instance, see, this is actually 1. Where at the beginning of the tune, that was 1. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's all scored out for you here. Now, next, the fingering. First finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Little finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. And you're going to play these 3 notes. Then you're going to take the first finger up to the 3rd fret. And then you're going to take the first finger up to the 4th fret. And when you do that, put the 2nd finger on the 5th fret. And then drop the 3rd finger down to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And then what I like to do is do a 1 and a 4 fingering here. It's almost like a power chord, rock power chord, but you drop this one 1, leave that string open in the middle. The reason I use my 4th finger instead of my 3rd finger is the angle of my hand. When I put the 4 down, it angles my hand up so I can really get that open note in the middle. So again. Okay, that's your main riff. Measure 12. I'm going to start at measure 10. Measure 12, at the very end, we're going to do a little, until we get into the next section. What I'm going to do is hit and of beat 4, and I'm going to do these open notes on the low, and then go up to the new section. The reason I do that is, if I'm here and I have to jump to there, it can be a little bit abrupt, but if when I'm hitting those low notes, it facilitates the change for me. So here's measure 10. Section. We'll call this guitar break number 1, I guess. Measure 13. What we're going to do is this: 12th fret, 12th fret, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, open B string in the middle. And you know, I scored it out with the top 4 string. You can hit all of them if you really want. It's a little fuller sounding, you know. So what you're going to do is run this pattern down. Where we're going to do this, and then you release this 2nd finger and put the 1st finger on the 11th fret behind it. So it's D sus4 to D, you know, and then we're going to go to the 10th fret with the same shapes. And then you go to the 7th fret with the same shapes. 3rd fret. I'm sorry, that was the 5th fret, my bad. I'm 1 step ahead. Now the 3rd fret. And then the riff is just, so it's 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, F, E, D. So again. 7th, 5th, 3rd. Okay, so the trick with this part is, it sounds like it's the same thing every time. It's not. It's 1, and, E, 4, and, 1, So if I put a metronome on, well, I'll go to 70. 16th notes would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So what you do, actually I'll slow that down in case you're not familiar with 16ths. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So what we've got here is 1A. You can see I'm subdividing the other 16th notes in there, but I'm not hitting the strings. 1E and A. So I make the motion for the E and, but I don't hit the strings. That keeps my hand swinging in a natural way. You don't want to just club them, each one down with downstrokes. It doesn't make sense, it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, and the drummer will throw a stick at you. So you want to subdivide and make it feel natural. 1E and A. Okay, so now we've got 1 A and E. So and obviously is a beat 2, and then E is the second 16th note in beat 3. And I'm sorry if this is a little confusing if you're not used to 16th notes, but it's the only way I know how to describe it. 1E and A, 2E and a 3E and a 4 and. Now you'll notice at the end of the measure it's 4 and there are 2 downstrokes. That's the part that people really want to mess up. So really concentrate on that 1 E and E 4 and. I'll try to say it again while I'm playing it. 1 and E 4 and 1 and E 4E and 1 and E 4 and 1 and E 4E and. Now, was Jimmy Page saying that? Probably not. But does he know what it is? I'm guessing he probably does. At any rate, if you're not Jimmy Page, which neither of us are, let's count them out. If you can feel it, that's great, but the problem is when you're feeling something, that you come back a week later if you go out of town or you're working and you don't really know rhythmically what's happening, if you're just trying to feel something, you could not remember, and now you're back to square one. So really try to understand those rhythms. It goes back to the main riff again, and then we go into guitar break 2, which is basically the same. A little bit of main riff, I'm at measure 25 right now. Now it goes back to the guitar break again. This time there is a measure of 9/8, which is a little bit confusing. It sounds almost the same as this. It's just 4/4 here, and then it goes into 9/8. Sounds the same, and that's where that little. So the beginning of that riff is the same: F, E, D, and then A, B, D, and I alternate pick. Okay, so I put the beat on, and you can see how this is going to feel. I'm at 65 on my metronome for practice. Okay, so the trick here is measure 28. It says 9/8. It looks the same, but then the end of the measure has that extended riff. There's a beat that happens right before that extended riff that you've got to let pass. That would be beat 6. And then it's 7 and 8 and 9 and. So for instance, slow it down to 60 and we can reverse that part. Beat. That way we stay with the metronome. One more time. Okay, now we're at bridge number 1. It's an A power chord, open A, and then the second finger here. And this is the 7th fret and the 6th fret. Basically just A major. And then our little riff. Not too bad. Bridge number 2 has some interesting rhythmic parts. It's a big bar here, 5th fret, and the 3rd finger's on the 7th fret. And this is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 4 and up. I put the metronome on and we'll play it together with that. 1, 2, 3 and video here, so I'm trying to speed up a little bit. I'm going to go through each section here for you. Okay, so that kind of gets through all the sections. Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. Obviously there's some other guitar breaks and violin parts and all that, but this would get you through the night. Nice Dadgad tuning, and I hope that's helpful. Please look at the sheet music in the PDF that's provided. And everything's notated for you. I took a lot of time to notate the downs and the ups and the rhythms for you. So good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.